All right, fifth grade. I am very excited because we are learning geometry, which I kind of talked about throughout the year. This is one of my favorite types of math. I love what we're about to learn. It does get a little harder as you get older, but we're not going to worry about that because this is the super fun part that we get to do right now, this week, and next week. So we're going to start with just some of the basic terms and different things. I need you to have your math books open to page number 241. We're just going to do an introduction today, and then let's see, on Monday, we will have some more fun shapes and different things going on from here because a lot of geometry for the first part is just learning the basic terms and what they mean, okay? So go ahead and get your math book, open up to page number 241. You're also going to need a pencil, page 241, pause, go. Okay, so if you're looking at page number 241 at the Introduction to Geometry, there are a lot of different types of facts up there, but before we dive into those, I just want to clarify that geometry is not what we've done normally. Just like you learned in your spelling vocabulary definitions today, geometry has to do with the measurement of lines and angles and surfaces and all of those different things, whereas arithmetic, which is what you have done so far in your entire elementary career, arithmetic is the process of addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, those different things, okay? So arithmetic is based around multiplication, subtraction, addition, division, all of those things. And now we're moving to a different type of math called geometry, the measurement of lines, surfaces, areas, shapes, all of those different things, okay? So that's what we're starting in today, and I'm very excited. So look at it. We're just going to go down the facts and kind of read them together and just determine what they really are, okay? So number one, geometry, the study of space or distance, okay, the area of space, not like going into galactic space. The study of space, it's a branch of mathematics which involves the measuring of shapes, just like your definition in spelling. The word geometry actually means to measure the earth. I'm going to write that up here. To measure the earth, which gives us a purpose for learning geometry. Just like science is studying the earth, geometry is measuring the earth and things of the earth. So we're measuring not just the earth itself, like whenever we say the circumference of the earth is 25,000 miles, okay? We're measuring different parts of the earth and we're studying those just like we do in science, just using these mathematical forms, okay? So that's the purpose of learning geometry, is to measure the earth, all right? Number two, a point is represented just by a dot. It's pretty easy, just this, anytime I say put a point here and go on, that's what you're going to do, okay? That's a term that you need to know. A point is just a dot, like a period, okay? It's like a point, all right? Then number two, a line segment. It's represented by a group of points having two endpoints. So a line segment is a line and it's ending. It has a start and a finish, okay, with the 2 points right here, okay? A line segment will always have a beginning and an end point, okay? That's what a line segment is, just a segment or just a part, a little piece of a line, okay? It also says line segments of the same length are congruent. So congruent is another fancy word for equal, okay? So if I drew a line segment right below that, it's the same length, which means these two lines are congruent. However, if the line was stretched out like this, it would not be congruent. So if your instructions are to draw a congruent line segment or a congruent line, it's going to be like this. All right. I'm going to just write that there, congruent. So they're equal to. Down to number four, a line is represented by a group of points having no end point. Okay, a line extends indefinitely in two opposite directions. So when you're doing geometry and you notice there's a line with arrows on both ends, that's just a line. It never ends. It doesn't have a segment. It's not a part. It's a whole line. It just keeps going and going and going because there's no start, there's no finish. Down to the next one, number five, array is represented by a group of points having one endpoint. So when they say a group of points, that's meaning like this line is passing through all of these different points and there's all these tiny line segments that are making up one line, okay? So array, just like a sun ray, if you have your sun here, okay, there's the sun. Let me give him some sunglasses. Okay, and you have sun rays coming off. They have a starting point, which is the center of the sun, and they go out. Okay, starting point is the center of the sun, and then they go out. Just a ray is just like a sun ray, like whenever you're drawing a sun. A ray is just like a sun ray. It has a starting point. Okay, starting point but it doesn't have a finish point. It just keeps going in the same direction until it runs into something else, okay? That's what a ray is. Now, an angle, going down to the next one, it's two rays that share a common endpoint right here. And that common endpoint is called the vertex. So you can see I have my vertex right here. It's the common endpoint. And then two rays going in different directions, okay? They're not going to meet. They're just going to keep going out, okay? It's like whenever you're roller skating and you start to make your feet go out. You just keep going, okay? And eventually, until you bring them back together, you're going to end up doing the splits. So that's what an angle is, okay? The vertex is very important. You need to know the vertex. And you need to know that an angle is spelled G-L-E, not this word right here. G-E-L, that's angel. We don't want angel, we want angle, okay? So a vertex has to do with an angle. All right, let's move on over to number 7. Okay, intersecting lines. These are lines that intersect or they cross paths, okay? They intersect. Just like whenever you're driving with your parents and you come to an intersection, that means there's 3 or 4 different roads leading into one point, okay? That's where the stop signs are, or the stoplights that you have to take your turns passing through. That's called an intersection. And 2 lines, or 2 rays, or whatever they may be, 2 lines passing through each other as an intersection. They're going to have a passing point right there. Intersecting lines, okay? Think of an intersection with your roads. Next down here, perpendicular. That's a familiar word because it's one of your vocabulary definitions. Perpendicular lines are intersecting lines, okay? Intersecting lines that form 4 right angles. Now, what a right angle is, we're going to get into it more specifically, but it's down here. It's this perfect, like, square angle, okay? Squares and rectangles all have what we call a right angle, okay? It's that perfect up and down one right there. So you can see this perpendicular line, it has 1 of those, 2 of those, 3 of those, 4 of those, almost as if it forms a perfect square right in the perpendicular intersection there. Let me move that a little bit closer so you can see it a little better. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Do you see that? Okay, right here. It's like a square in the intersection, so right angles are what we call those. All right, next one up is another familiar word, parallel lines. Parallel lines are also one of your vocabulary definitions from this week. They're 2 lines that will never intersect. They run completely parallel, completely along each other, okay? See, they're straight. They're never, ever, ever going to intersect because they're always going the exact same level, okay? And then number 10, a plane is represented by a smooth